Tony and Yen Lee received some exciting news for them this week. They received confirmation that they are likely to be accepted by the Church Missionary Society, CMS, to become missionaries for overseas work. And that means that Tony will be finishing as our Assistant Minister here at St Anne's early next year. I want to emphasise early next year is when... But Tony, how long have you been thinking about mission work overseas?
So first of all, it hasn't been an easy decision as we've considered where God would have us serve in His world. The journey into ministry started many years ago, before Yen Lee and I got married, figuring out, how could we be serving God with our lives? And part of that was thinking, okay, maybe full-time ministry was a consideration. As we continued through that after getting married and working out what life would look like, we made the decision that full-time ministry is something that God would have us do with our lives. But through that, percolating in the background was, what about overseas mission? Going to places in the world where the gospel isn't yet there. And so over the years, spurred on by the gospel message that we have great news of relief and deliverance for those who don't yet know Jesus, considering where we could go in ministry. And so the decision, I guess the process of thinking overseas mission started before college, as we're heading into college, and just being open to God's calling, just not sure, do we stay in Sydney, do we go overseas, just uncertain with that. But throughout college years, growing in our conviction that there are many places in the world that need to know Jesus. The city right is one place, and we've faithfully serving here, but there are also other places as well. And so that's been an ongoing thing, well over 10 years, I'd say, to get to the point where we're taking the next step.
Yeah. What's been the process with CMS over these last couple of years while you've been here at St Anne's?
Yeah, so the CMS process is not quick and simple. Very rigorous with their selection of missionaries. So it started off with a conversation with CMS before college and saying, look, we're open to missionary work. What could we be thinking about? And so over the next couple of years at college, just having really one conversation a year with the Inquirer, just kind of thinking, what's the next step? How do we continue to be working towards mission overseas if that is where God would have us? And then towards the end of college, growing in our conviction that perhaps, after college at some point, sooner rather than later, we would want to be heading overseas to do gospel work. And so part of that was putting in application forms. And then after that, over the past couple of years, going through a number of different interviews. And so interviews as a couple, as well as individual interviews.
And assuming that it is all confirmed, this will happen in August when it's 100% decided, what will next year look like for your family?
So we are here until the end of the year. But part of becoming missionaries with CMS is cross-cultural training down in their training facility, St Andrew's Hall, down in Melbourne. And so in the scenario that we do get accepted, we'll be heading down to Melbourne sometime in January. We'll be spending 5 to 6 months there doing cross-cultural training in preparation for overseas missionary work. And then in the second half of next year, we'll be coming back up to Sydney and doing support raising. So having individual conversations, contacting churches and seeing how, as a fellowship, we can be supporting each other, receiving prayer support, financial support, and using those couple of months there to be going around and letting people know where we'll be heading and the type of work that we'll be doing.
So obviously this is very exciting news. It's tinged with sadness, obviously, but God may be giving us the very high honour of being a mission partner that's sending from our own church to overseas. With Tony's blessing, it's time for St Anne's also to start the search then for a new assistant minister for next year. And these sort of things can take weeks or months of time. And so we're going to be looking for the best candidate and we need to start early. And so we're going to start putting out the public advertisements in the appropriate places.
Yeah, we'd love to be able to give you the full story. We've got a snippet of it today, but to kind of be able to share our story from right from the beginning and through to where God would eventually send us, that'd be a story we would love to share.